Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Miss Hart, so what was your first impression, like your first reaction when you heard your name announced?
I was very surprised and very honored, and then kind of the whole wave of emotions came over
Yes.
me of just this year's been we've done so much over my whole time here, but like this year has been extremely challenging to try, but the goal is always to support this teaching and learning and the students and the teachers and so I think that whole wave of emotion just to be honored
Yes.
with such a big honor was really wonderful.
Yes. So Miss Hart, this year, like especially, you put together all like the online textbooks and all the online class and schedules. Wow.
Yeah, so and we needed a you know one thing that we know, research and such has told us is when you're learning in an online environment, um, it is best to have it fully online and not blended, so not to be an observer in a classroom. So we wanted to create online classes so students could be engaged and teachers could design their lessons for an online only environment rather than having to split and try to design for an online and an in-person and what I believe it's about 2 weeks that students can hold their engagement as observers in a classroom. So if they're zooming into a live class, it's much harder for them to stay actively engaged in their learning past 2 weeks that the engagement drops.
Yes.
And we wanted to make sure for our online school that we created just as an engaging learning environment for those students. So that meant we had to create an online school schedule that melded with a in-person school schedule and allowed those teachers to teach in both environments. A lot of teachers teach in both environments,
Yes.
and then balance all of that together. So it was a challenge, but I think when I see the online community and how engaged and they feel connected. When I look at their learning and we check in with the teachers and look at map growth and things like that and see the growth, and then I'm like, yes, we did. It was all a lot of work, but all in the right direction.
It looks like it's a lot of research done before we had the classes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the second question, what do you think makes you a good faculty member and a good community member of Rectory?
I think one thing is as a community member, as an administrator, is having such a strong community of faculty and students. And especially in my role, as I work with so many faculty, we have one of the best faculty. When I have different experts and guests here on campus, they always remark about our faculty, how willing they are to engage in learning, how knowledgeable they are, and how just ready they are to work and implement and try. And I think that's really, really important because that's allowed us to accomplish many different goals over the years and to continue to really craft and build the best teaching and learning environment.
Yes. So speaking of good faculty members, is anyone you would like to thank for your time at Rectory?
I think who I'd want to thank for Rectory is just really the entire faculty.
Yes.
Because they just, part of my job as administrator is to support our faculty in their learning. And, I'm always asking them to attend professional developments. How can we support you to grow? And they're like willing to, and they're willing to, they're always thinking creatively, always talking with each other, coming up with the different ideas, and we rise up together.
Yes.
And I think that I can't thank the faculty enough.
Yes, I really agree. We have like really engaging classes at Rectory. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what do you think is the most important responsibility of being a faculty member?
Being a faculty member or me as an administrator?
A faculty member in general.
In general. I think one of the things that's most important is always taking the time to engage yourself. A lot of times we get busy with our work,
Yes.
and so it's always important to take a moment and stop and look up and say, where am I? What do I want to learn? What is how can I grow myself? What's going on? And reflect. You know, a lot of times we ask our students to reflect in their own learning, and as we ask our faculty also to reflect in our own learning.
Yes.
So I think it's always important to continue to learn. There's so much research and so much knowledge that's coming out and continues to come out about how our brains best learn.
Yes.
And being able to take that and bring it into the classroom and see what's working and then what's working for you as a teacher. Everybody's a little bit different,
Yes.
and some people, you know, really teach one way, but that might not fit for you. You know, so what fits for you and makes your learning, teaching and learning,
Yes.
you know, the best that it can be for you.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Like every student is different, and like every student receives information in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, for teachers to be able to really create an engaging lesson,
Yes.
they have to take in account all those different learners,
Yes.
and then take into account how they are as teachers, and find that point where, you know, it all grows.
Yes. Oh, so what do you think is the mission of being a responsible and like, upstanding faculty member?
I think those are two similar questions.
Yes. So what do you think is like the most important thing for a student to learn?
The most important thing for a student to learn is to engage in their learning.
Yes.
It is not being put upon them. It is their responsibility. So every student should, you know that they're in the driver's seat, especially as they come up to middle school. When you're in elementary school, you know, it's different, but as you come up into middle school, the baton's being handed to you, and we're getting you ready for high school, and we're getting you ready to be the driver in your learning. And I think that's really important for for students to learn, to ask questions to their teacher, to go stop in during enrichment or office hours, to pick up a book that maybe that they wouldn't typically read, to challenge themselves, because now, you know, the baton's being handed over to you at this age. I think that's one thing that's exciting about middle school is we are you know, learning is now going into your hands. And then as you go into high school, you really get to have more choices and more direction, and then you'll be going into college, which will really then, you know, focus your and give you more opportunities. And we want to build a foundation so you can choose any of those opportunities.
I agree. So, what is your model in terms of being a rectory faculty member?
My model really is to service. How can I best support our students and create an academic program that has the best teaching and learning for our students? And we service our early childhood all the way through grade 9, and my role helps support all of those. All those different programs. So you see me many times, you know, in middle school, but I support the, you know, early childhood through grade 9, and really to develop a program that best supports teaching and learning.
Yes. So how long have you been working at rectory, and what aspects of rectory school attract you to come work at rectory in the first place?
This is my 11th year at rectory.
Wow.
And before that, I taught math and science in middle school. I taught 8th grade and 6th grade, 7th grade for 1 year, but 8th and 6th grade mostly. And when I was teaching, I was being asked to lead more and more professional development. I had been nominated for Teacher of the Year for my school, and I had just been doing more and more on the leadership side, and I really liked how I could work with teachers and share not necessarily all my ideas, but share what's out there.
Yes.
There's so much out there, and there's even in what's going on in a classroom next door, and invite a teacher to come look at that class and see
Yes.
what they're doing. Did you know that these students are also studying this? And connecting and making that connections in knowledge and in methodologies for teaching. So that's what interests me. I got my master's in educational technology,
Wow.
which is in the psychology of learning. So so I wanted to make that shift too. So I came here as a academic technology specialist, I think is. So when I first came here, I was going into every classroom and working with teachers on how they can use the different academic technology resources.
Like for example.
So for example, well, we didn't have computers. Like students didn't have. There wasn't a one-to-one program. We didn't have classroom smart boards and interactive projectors in the classrooms at the time. So we brought those in to the classrooms, and we talked about how to make notes available and how to make resources available to the students. It's knowledge shouldn't be hidden or held back. How can we share all of these things for our students and use the resources to build engagement? Since we didn't have computers, we had clickers so that students could engage and interact with using other devices. So we slowly built up to where we are now.
So one more question. So was Schoology a available thing at that time?
No, we brought Schoology in maybe 7 or 8 years ago. We needed a learning management platform. That was just, technology shouldn't be complicated, and sometimes platforms are more complicated than they should be. And so we looked at many different ones, and at the time, Schoology was a very small company. They were very young. I think they had about 12 employees at the time we started with them. So we've been with Schoology since they very, very first started. And I can remember quickly they had gone up to about 20 employees in that time. So they were very young in their when we started with them. But what we liked about their platform, it was very user friendly. And we wanted a platform that it was user friendly for the students, for the teachers, and for the parents to be able to access how are their students doing.
Yes, definitely. I can see that my parents check in Schoology every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the final question is, what do you enjoy the most about working at Rector?
I enjoy the community. I enjoy the students. I enjoy being able to stop in classrooms. I enjoy watching the growth. I enjoy being able to support faculty growth too. I'm always want to know what are faculty's hopes and dreams, and where are their interests, and how can we support and grow those passions and interests, because we're able to, and so I really like to be able, I just love, we have a great community. And our students and our faculty, seeing we see students come in. I mean, you were so little when you first came, and you were so quiet. I think you had your first math class. Was it Miss Uglo?
Yeah.
Right, just two classrooms down. I remember checking in on you when you first came, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put her. And I check in with Miss Uglo, and well, she's not talking much, but I think she has a really strong understanding. I'm like, okay. And then you started talking more and more and started engaging more, and it's fun to be able to see students come in all different places. We have some students that come in with a strong understanding. We have students that they're not strong with their reading, and they may not be confident in their reading, but then you kind of see that wow, they realize that we're not going to judge as a community each other, and we believe in each other, and we're going to support each other. And then you see these students confidence build, and we're a community of students and teachers who try. So that means at the beginning of every year we have faculty orientation, and I do a different activity with the faculty every year to get them to step out. I mean, we've done the flash mob, we've done big painting murals. I changed all these rooms up here into escape rooms and locked the teachers in. Not locked them, but in theory locked them in. But they had to go through and try to escape the room. So every year we do something different. And but our faculty are willing to try. Our students are willing to try. I think when you have a community like that is accepting, willing to try new things, step out, and so many times a friend says, "Hey, why don't you come out to the play with me?" Or, "Hey," the teacher says, "Hey, do you want to talk about this? I'd love to try this in my class." And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people love the play and they never do it, and sometimes they say, "Not again." But it was a great experience. But in that, they grow an appreciation for those that do the play. Yes. They do grow an appreciation. They may not be an orchestra, but they did 5th and 6th grade band, and they have an appreciation for the amount of work it takes. Yes. So then you see them all wanting to be at concerts. I mean, sometimes we have students that will go to multiple concerts or multiple musicals. They'll attend multiples because they want to see it more than once. Yes. To support their friends.
Yes, definitely.
And that's a great community to be a part of.
Yes, I agree. This is a really good community here.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Hart. Thank you very much for the interview, Ms. Hart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I had taken some notes, so I'll email those to you too, just so you have these other thoughts.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Hart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I can't believe you're a 9th grader.
Yes.
We're down to 6 days until you find out about secondary schools.
I'm so nervous about it.
Me too.
Wait.
I know.
Where's my...
And that out.
Here.
There it is.
Wait. Oh, I got it.